Hello, I am Gauche. The song clips in this video are used legally under fair use for the purpose of review. I would like to talk about Cracked.com. I often find myself enjoying content created by Cracked.com, particularly web series such as After Hours, The Spit Take, Rom.com, Obsessive Pop Culture Disorder, and Does Not Compute. Today, however, I would like to talk about their somewhat new series, Music Notes, and its very first episode, Macklemore's homophobic gay rights song. Please note that this video is nearly an entire year old, but since the song they are critiquing in said video was published nearly 3 years prior, I have decided that it is appropriate. The video was written by Cody Johnston, edited by Nick Rude, produced by Brandon Carter, directed by Abe Epperson, and stars regular Cracked performers Greg Burke and Katie Stoll, as well as guest actor Patrick Noth. Patrick's name is misspelled as North in the credits of the video, which they only amended in the annotations. Annotations are not visible to anyone on a mobile device or to anyone with annotations turned off, and the correction is not listed in the description. Good going, Nick Rude. Noth can also be seen doing his Macklemore impression in College Humor's thrift shop parody, Gift Shop. Let's take a look at the title. Obviously, the writer of this video understood the irony of calling attention to the homophobia in a song that pushes for gay rights. However, the video itself is not a satirical exaggeration of language policing gone mad. It is instead a completely earnest video policing the language that Macklemore uses in his gay rights song, calling him homophobic. In fact, the only words in the description of the video which are not links to other videos or social media pages are the sentence, "We hope you're paying attention, Macklemore." They are being completely, unironically serious. Clearly, something very unsavory must happen in this song to warrant such a strong claim. So let's take a look at the video.
When I was in the 3rd grade, I thought that I was gay, cause I could draw. My uncle was, and I kept my room straight.
Macklemore, that didn't happen.
You have no way of knowing whether or not that happened.
Yo, what?
You didn't look around your clean room and think, I must be gay.
I was 8.
Okay, so you thought about your gay uncle, looked at your clean room and how good you are at drawing, and you were like, oh shit, I'm gay.
You are saying this sarcastically, but it sounds completely reasonable, especially if he had an openly gay family member, and therefore homosexuality was openly talked about in his household. It is likely that this would come up at an early age. In this verse, Macklemore is identifying his passive tendencies of drawing and cleaning and comparing them to more active tendencies of playing physical games or sports and causing disarray. This makes him feel passive, which he identifies as gay. I could regale you with my personal experience with questioning my own gender identity and sexual orientation at a young age, but since my gender is beyond your understanding, I will not.
Oh shit, I'm gay.
Right. But I'm not.
Who cares?
And here we come to the premise of the video. Because Macklemore says that he is not gay, he must be homophobic. This idea assumes that the only reason someone would have for saying that they are not a part of a given group is because they are afraid that people will suggest that they are. Alternatively, they could be suggesting that he must dislike this specific group or be prejudiced against them, but I will give Cracked the benefit of the doubt and assume that they are defining homophobia as the fear, not hatred, of homosexuality. There are many reasons to say you're not a part of a group. You could be giving context to the listener or establishing the position from which you assert your views about this group. People got upset with Rachel Dolezal for doing the opposite of this. She fought for the rights of black people without acknowledging that she herself was not black. If she had provided that information, people would have accepted her support. But since she omitted it and even lied about it, she is now a hilarious joke. I'm not suggesting that if Macklemore had said nothing, he would have been pretending to be gay. Nor am I suggesting that Cracked.com is implying that he should have lied and said that he was gay, like Rachel Dolezal did with being black. I am also not implying that everyone in the world would have assumed that Macklemore was gay had he not established that he was not. There exist many people on Earth who lack the capacity to care about a cause that doesn't directly affect them. I've listed a couple of internet-y, feminist-type articles about this below, as that is Cracked.com's modus operandi. These people would have to assume that Macklemore was gay in order for him to make a gay rights song. Macklemore makes that distinction not only so that people understand that he is not a homosexual, but so that they too, other heterosexuals, can join in on this cause.
I'm not familiar with the gay drawer stereotype.
Oh, then you must not be familiar with my drawing. It's really good.
That's a painting.
I'm a good drawer.
There are many stereotypes surrounding gay people and art, but you are correct. I was unable to find resources which specifically cite drawing as a gay stereotype. However, this is further evidence that he is citing a real-life experience rather than a made-up one, as you have asserted. Maybe his uncle was an artist, or maybe he thought things like acting and dancing were similar enough to drawing to be similarly gay. Regardless, if he was making something up, he could have said something more stereotypical. So you can either assume that he did this because he is an imbecile, which I admit can be fun, or you can assume that he actually thought this as a child.
My uncle was, and I kept my room straight. I told my mom, tears rushing down my face. She's like, Ben, you've loved girls since before pre-K. Tripping. Yeah, I guess she had a point, didn't she? Bunch of stereotypes.
Oh, did she though? Snacksmores have a point.
Yes. The next line, which you cut off mid-sentence, was, bunch of stereotypes all in my head. He continues, I remember doing the math like, yeah, I'm good at Little League. A preconceived idea of what it all meant. For those that like the same sex had the characteristics. The point that she was making is that gay stereotypes are not good indicators of real homosexuality, and you should listen instead to the way that you think about other people romantically.
So you're devoting your entire intro to saying, I'm not gonna cry because I'm not gay.
No. The point of this section of the song is that he is refuting the idea of gay stereotypes as a whole. He is saying that it is wrong to assume that all people in a given group do certain things, and that doing those things indicates that you must be a part of that group. You are suggesting that he, adult Macklemore, is afraid of being gay. But this section is about the childhood Macklemore's normal childhood fear of being gay, and that childhood Macklemore doesn't have to worry about that because stereotypes aren't true. It could be argued that Macklemore was homophobic as a child because he was afraid of being gay. However, based on what has been said so far, you could not say the same thing about the songwriter, adult Macklemore.
Yo, I've loved girls since before pre-K.
You know, I heard that. So pre-K, that's what? Preschool. So before preschool would be baby age?
Yeah, since I was baby age.
This is a fair point, as most anecdotal evidence I've come across suggests boys liking girls much later than preschool or baby age. However, since I'm having a hard time finding a study that details romantic feelings at a young age, and since this argument relies on social norms and anecdotal evidence, here are some anecdotes from a forum for moms. From popsugar.com, 3 tips for preschool crushes. Yes, it is normal. Preschoolers are little sponges who soak up everything their moms and dads and other adults do. Kids this age mimic a lot of behavior that they witness. Is there an older sister, cousin, or friend around that acts this way? Does she have access to television programming where boy-girl relationships are discussed? Even a lot of Disney programming explores this. My guess is that she may not fully comprehend exactly what these things actually mean. Carol Y agrees. Her 2-year-old son has crushes and likes to be the center of attention with the girls in his preschool. He's always been a ladies' man. He just flashes his dimples and they swoon too. It's normal, and I'm never going to tell my son that it's wrong for him to feel what he feels naturally. Here is an example of boys liking girls at baby age. It may not be real romance. It may not, in fact, be indicative of heterosexuality. It is, however, something a mom might reference to make a crying child feel better about his fears of life becoming more difficult and his norms being flipped on their heads.
If I was gay,
Snackle! Oh, sorry, so I can prepare. How many times are you going to draw a distinction between yourself and gay people?
Let us find out.
I thought that I was gay.
In the context of being a confused child. But this isn't the line that draws the distinction. It is only the setup.
Ben, you've loved girls since before pre-K.
There is the distinction.
If I was gay, I would think hip-hop hates me.
Here is the preceding line in the video, with the context added back in. Also, Macklemore is correct. If he was gay, a large portion of vocal hip-hop fans would hate him. In fact, a lot of vocal hip-hop fans and artists alike hate him now, just for this song. See Lord Jamar's interview with DJ Vlad.
To me, when people like Macklemore come out with songs like that, I know he loves hip-hop and all that, but he's trying to push an agenda that him as a white man feels is acceptable. But those proclivities and sensibilities are not at the core of true hip-hop.
I might not be the same, but that's not important.
And there it is, right in the song. Macklemore refutes the entire argument made by this video. The on-screen Macklemore thinks that the distinction is very important because he is afraid of homosexuality and he doesn't want to be perceived as homosexual. However, in the song, he says that that's not important. That distinction that he made is not important. Why do you think that distinction is so important? I do not understand. So, 3 times, I suppose. 3 times in this 5-minute and 20-second song about homosexuality, this man acknowledges his sexual orientation. Let's flip this scenario briefly. Let us pretend that we're talking about a homosexual making a piece of art about sexual orientation. And let us say that the homosexual acknowledges their sexual orientation several times throughout. Let's say that this art piece is in a genre of art that relies heavily on self-expression and being authentic, like rap music. A reasonable person wouldn't have any problem with this. However, you might hear some people say things like, "Stop rubbing it in our faces," or perhaps, "I don't care if you're gay, just don't talk to me about it." This behavior would indicate that deep down, these people hold disdain for homosexuality. Now, if we flip the scenario back around, it appears that it is cracked.com who is the one shouting, "Keep it to yourself." I do not understand. These 2 wrongs do not make a right, as you might say.
Well, I wouldn't say it like that.
Oh, okay. How would you
How many
say it?
times in this brave anthem are you gonna spit about how gay people are dope? No homo.
In the song, Macklemore says the line, "We press play, don't press pause." Pause is a phrase that cropped up a few years ago, which combines the ideas of no homo as well as that's what she said. It is used anytime something in conversation could be construed as gay or sometimes merely sexual. This is a quick, subtle line, but the implication is clear. Macklemore is against phrases like pause and presumably no homo because they paint homosexuality as a bad thing.
Give that man everything I got.
Pause.
Pause. Pause what?
You said something gay.
A quick check with lyric analyzation website Rap Genius verifies that many people interpret this line this way.
Gay is synonymous with the lesser.
Macklemore appears to understand the harmful effect that these phrases have when we use them so casually.
Yeah. Okay, that then. How many times?
Just one more where I say almost verbatim that I'm not the same as them.
Well, at least you said almost, because in context, that verse isn't offensive at all. In fact, even out of context, it is quite inoffensive, which is probably why you summarized it before playing it.
All right.
It's really good.
Yeah.
By them humans that have had their rights stolen. I might not be the same, but that's not important.
If it's not important,
Then why even bring it up?
Yes. Exactly. So you know, then,
Know what?
that you're drawing an unnecessary distinction.
I do not understand why it is so important that the distinction is unnecessary. Just because something is unnecessary to say doesn't make it hateful. And who is to say what is unnecessary? That is quite subjective. I would agree that if Macklemore tweeted the words, "I am not gay," this would be an unnecessary distinction. However, all 3 times he says it in the song, it has a reason. The first time is to illustrate the falsehood of gay stereotypes. The second time was to call attention to the real homophobia that exists in hip-hop today, both among the listeners and the artists, using a hypothetical version of him as an example. The third time was to reuse the word same, which is in the title of the song, and to establish 2 groups of people so that he can say no freedom till these 2 groups are equal.
There are actually a lot of gay rappers. Probably.
At least you said probably.
I find that hard to believe. Where are there anthems about gay marriage? I mean, name one of them.
Angel Hayes.
It appears that we are going to list a bunch of underground, unpopular rappers to make the song Same Love look unnecessary. However, I don't see what this has to do with your argument. Regardless, I will list the number of Twitter followers that each of these rappers have and then compare it to Macklemore's number of followers as a rough estimate of how big of a platform each of these performers has to push their pro-gay marriage ideas.
Angel Hayes.
194,000 followers. However, your first example of a gay rapper is not gay. Angel Hayes is pansexual as well as being agender.
Azalea Banks,
548,000 followers. But once again, she is not gay, she is bisexual. I should also point out now that gay female rappers and gay male rappers are very different. First of all, a hip-hop listener would already have to be open-minded to listen to a female rapper in the first place, as it is a male-dominated genre, and there are still very vocal hip-hop purists that think that women cannot rap. Nicki Minaj, arguably the most currently relevant female rapper in American pop music, has a large and devoted following of gay men. Second, people who hate gay men don't necessarily hate gay women, especially considering some of the fetishizing of lesbianism that takes place in this very genre. See Nicki Minaj.
Big Dipper,
3,764 followers at the time of this writing. He gets decent views on YouTube, reaching into the 100,000 range, but even on YouTube, he only has 7,000 subscribers. He is what is known as a novelty act.
Big Freedia,
46.3 thousand followers.
Cakes to Killa,
6,685 followers at the time of this writing. Similar to Big Dipper, he gets decent views on YouTube, but I do not know if he even has his own YouTube channel. It appears that he does most of his social media through SoundCloud, where he has 12.5 thousand followers.
JB Dubs,
1,243 followers at the time of this writing. His YouTube channel is more successful, with 24,000 subscribers and a video with more than 3 million views. However, calling him a rapper is a bit of a stretch, as he appears to be more of a singer.
Zebra Cats,
13.3 thousand followers.
House of Ladosha,
They do not appear to have an official Twitter account, but they are listed on Zebra Cat's Wikipedia page as being a part of the same queer hip-hop subgenre as Zebra Cats and Cakes to Killa. They have 4,886 followers on SoundCloud at the time of this writing.
Frank Ocean, right? Right?
Unfortunately, for the purposes of my example, the most famous rapper you mention deleted his Twitter in 2013. However, he is a Grammy Award-winning artist and is influential enough in modern music to be compared to Macklemore. Generally, he is considered to be an R&B singer, but through his work with Odd Future, he can be heard rapping on songs such as Oldie and She by Tyler the Creator. However, Frank Ocean is not openly gay because he doesn't like those labels. He is a man who openly admitted to being in love with a man at one point in his life. I may or may not agree with his opinion that these labels, which are purely descriptive, should not be applied to him, even if he fits the label's definition. But if Frank Ocean doesn't want to be called gay, calling him gay in this video doesn't exactly fit the message of acceptance that contact.gauche aims to achieve. Finally, for comparison, Macklemore has 2.81 million followers, significantly more than all of the rappers listed combined, possibly even including the currently unmeasurable Frank Ocean. Based on these numbers, it is reasonable to assume that Macklemore may have more of an effect on the American public than these gay rappers.
Where are their anthems about gay marriage?
That is an interesting question, on-screen Macklemore. It appears that this video is implying that the existence of these other gay rappers makes Macklemore's homophobic gay rights song less important, or at least less of a
Rave anthem.
However, most of these rappers listed make novelty music about having gay sex and do not appear to be interested in politics, regardless of the direct effect these politics may have on their lives. I do not believe that there is a problem with making music about how much you enjoy being gay. I see no reason to place the burden on these rappers to stand and represent their people in the political world, particularly in the form of their art. Similarly, I see no problem with a heterosexual man standing up for these people, if he chooses to, in the form of his art. And in the context of this argument, I do not understand how the number of gay rappers in the world matters, since that is not what your argument is about. Your argument is about this particular song by this particular heterosexual being problematic. It seems that you may have deviated for comedy purposes, but this does not excuse the fact that within the tone of the video, you are winning the original argument using unrelated information.
I wasn't familiar with the gay rapper stereotype. But if that's true, true. And I like to keep it neat and tidy in my crib, and in the rest of my room, and in my whole house.
My crib, the rest of my room, and my whole house? I missed this joke on the first few viewings. I am tempted to credit this to clever writing, but I think it may have just been a bad line read. Or perhaps bad editing.
No one still cares.
Just do another song, please.
I don't have any.
At this point, the video completely deviates from the idea of Macklemore being homophobic, eventually suggesting that he has syphilis, and ending with a proclamation of,
I did it!
in the voice of a mentally handicapped person. I haven't shown the entire video here, and I encourage you to watch this video in its entirety, as well as listen to the song Same Love to form your own opinions. Now, for an interesting comparison, I would like to direct you to another Cracked.com video, posted roughly 5 months later. Interesting.
On either side of the argument, there are about 50 people tops who actually know what they're talking about. Then, behind them, there are 100,000 5-year-olds holding lit torches, screaming and running loose, and just setting fire to their own camps.
This is a very good video that is both humorous and informative, and it is interesting to compare to the previous Cracked.com video.
They believe in the same cause as you, at least what they understand of it, but they have zero impulse control, and the screaming is just way more fun than actually saying anything.
Snackle! How many times are you going to draw a distinction between yourself and gay people?
And man, all this new attention is sure exciting. Naturally, the opposing side will point to these people as the core of your movement because they are just easier to cut down.
Do you mean the way that gay rights detractors point to gay rights supporters and accuse them of being hyper-liberal social justice warriors whose only mission in life is to police the language used by other people in the media and on the internet? Because it sure would be easy to make that point while watching a video titled Macklemore's Homophobic Gay Rights Song.
Thanks a lot, libtards.
Well, I wouldn't say it like that.
And these dummies don't just offer detractors fuel for their fire, they also occasionally fire blindly into their own ranks.
Do you mean like a website that is pushing for gay marriage, firing at a song that is pushing for gay marriage?
Why would you attack your franchise player like that? That's of course rhetorical, I know the answer. It's because the dummies in the back row of any movement think that accusing someone of being on the wrong team just to watch them sink is the same thing as exacting actual tangible change in the world. Except one, of course, is way, way easier.
I do not understand. Cracked.com is making my own argument for me. If you support what someone is doing, trying to nitpick their flaws is not to your advantage. It makes you look catty and dumb. In making this video, I am not trying to defend Macklemore. Macklemore does not need to be defended, and I am not necessarily on Macklemore's side of any given political debate. But you, Cracked.com, are on Macklemore's side in this particular debate. Yet here you stand, cutting him down for seemingly no reason but the amusement of others and maybe a little bit of social justice. But in your attempt to be good gay rights activists, you took a stab at one of the only songs on the radio that explicitly and specifically fought for the legalization of gay marriage before it was passed in the United States of America. A song which reached the homes of millions of Americans and maybe changed a few minds. When a person hears a song from this perspective, that perspective being one of a person who is not gay but who supports gay marriage, they can relate to this cause.
But here's the thing. You need those dummies. You can't carve the idiots out of your cause because they outnumber you. So you have to keep them at least somewhat happy. It's like placating an actual 5-year-old. You just have to think like a 5-year-old. Your cause can't only be about complex issues like abortion rights and the wage gap and the persistent threat of sexual violence against an entire gender because those issues are boring.
I will ignore how I feel about those particular issues you mentioned and maybe address them at a later time.
You get about 10% of your cause dedicated to that. And then the other 90 has to be about how Black Widow's backstory is problematic. Or it has to be dedicated to crashing into duped pedestrians on the sidewalk to prove that men walk sexistly.
Or perhaps it has to be about a rap musician whose gay rights song isn't gay rightsy enough.
So what can you do? Well, when you align yourself with one of the sides on a decisive issue,
I believe you mean divisive issue.
Whatever it may be, just try to make an effort not to burn down your own camp.
What an excellent point, Cracked.com. I hope you're paying attention, Cracked.com. I am Gauche. Goodbye.